Ready to go, bruv?
Ready to go when you are, Sunshine.
Yeah. Born ready. "100 fights, 96 losses.
Say that again, what?
100 fights, 4 wins, 96 losses.
Would it be disingenuous to call you a professional loser?
It was a little bit more to it than that. Obviously, I wasn't always there to win. I was good at losing. There's a way to lose, believe it or not, which sounds a little bit odd. I know it does, of course it does, but there's a way to lose. You can lose well, or you can lose badly.
Johnny Greaves is now retired and talking candidly. He started fighting as a pro on the small hall boxing circuit, as a journeyman. To understand what that is, a quick economics lesson in profit making at its purest.
You've got a home corner and an away corner. The home fighter, whose promoter or manager will be promoting the show where the fight is taking place, has to sell tickets. Roughly £1,000 of that money, 1,200 perhaps, goes to pay for his opponent, and that would be the journeyman. The implicit understanding, it's not an explicit thing, but the implicit understanding is that the journeyman is not there to win. Young boxers with these impressive records don't appear out of nowhere. They had to fight somebody, and the guys that they're fighting are the journeymen.
"30 seconds.
Here's the thing though, the audience are paying £40 a ticket. So surely the key question is,
What does the audience in your average small hall boxing match think is happening?
Okay, they think that their boy is in a competitive fight, I would imagine, but that's because the majority of them aren't boxing fans.
Yeah, but then isn't that somebody's been conned then, if
No
they're
one's
the
told them-
expectation?
No one's told them, look, your lad's in a 50-50 fight and it's this and it's that. They've kind of turned up and,
They've made their own mind,
and assumed that, haven't they?
It may be naive, but it's a pretty fair assumption to make though, isn't it?
I suppose
I mean, you
so.
would have thought.
No, because what it is, and here's the key point, people assume that boxing is a sport, and it isn't, it's a business. Frank Bruno famously called it show business with blood.
The British Boxing Board of Control are the people who regulate the sport. They told us that if a boxer loses 4 consecutive contests in a row, they can be called in for formal questioning, which could ultimately result in their licence being revoked. Here's the thing though, we've contacted 7 boxers with some of the most impressive losing records to find out how many times they've been called in. Starting with Johnny Greaves.
he lost 96 bouts, formally questioned just 3 times. Max Maxwell lost 47 times, questioned once. Jody Mikla formally questioned 4 times, eventually his licence revoked, but after 52 losses. The list goes on. The 7 boxers we looked at ratcheted up nearly 500 losses. How many times did the board intervene? Just 33. The board told us all the boxers you name have been discussed on many occasions and were more than capable of competing at the level they are permitted to participate in.
Come on, son.
The strange thing, Johnny Greaves takes pride in how he fought. If a boxer's knocked out, they can't fight for at least a month. Johnny couldn't afford that, so perfected defensive boxing. Underdog as art form.
Time. I won't lie, and I'll never tell the kids that, you know, Daddy went out and won all these times, because I didn't. I'll tell them that when they was young and babies and they needed clothes on their back and food down their necks, Daddy went out and done it in the toughest way imaginable. There's no other tougher way in the world than what I went through to feed my kids. So hopefully I'd like to think that they give me a little bit of respect for that.
There's real pride in it for you, isn't there?
Massive pride.
Yeah.
Massive pride.
Time for a fag break. In one corner, legendary Journeyman lights up. In the other,
I want to become a world champion and let the world know who I really am. I'm Romeo. Romeo Casino Valentino Romeo. Remember that name.
9 fights, 9 wins, 9 journeymen. Romeo, though, has a less cynical take on the business.
In your mind, do the journeymen go into the ring with you basically to lose?
No, when they hear they'd be fighting me, they don't come to lose, they want to try and beat me because it gets some reputation.
Once upon a time, Johnny Greaves would have said the same, but he adapted. He gave the new business what it wanted, a great loser. And when you dig deep, it gave him something back.
Getting a bit serious, I struggled a hell of a lot with depression even from a young age.
Did you?
So going up, in a way it was a bit of self-harming. So instead of taking a razor blade to my wrists and my arms and my ankle and cutting myself to bits, I'll get in there and get punched.
What was that about, what you're talking about now?
It just made me feel tough.
And you have to be tough, especially if you think small hall boxing's become show business with blood rather than pure contest. And you have to ask, did the boxing board and the businessmen create the loser as legend?